Hey, hey, Mega Moms, Jessica Hensley here with Stephanie Sockberger. Hi, Steph.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I was just telling you, I'm so excited about this spring. I got my light colors on and I got sandals on. I'm kind of vibing with this spring weather. Although, is it officially when did spring begin or when does spring begin? I don't remember.
Was it when there was a time change
Probably.
about I think it's officially spring, or though my son told me that, it doesn't look like spring here. So I'm
No.
not wearing sandals and fun colors and stuff yet. Yesterday was really pretty. I was out in my shorts with snow all over the ground, but
Oh,
today's kind of
wow.
just dreary.
Yeah. Well, do you have a favorite season of the year?
My favorite season is fall.
Fall.
How about yours?
You know, I would say probably fall, but spring is my next favorite. I mean, mainly just because I don't love really, really hot and I hate bugs. And so, in my area, going outside, I feel like you're swarmed with mosquitoes in the summer and wasps and all those things. And then I don't want to be cold either. I mean, the winter's pretty, but we don't typically have a lot of snow. We might get one or two seasons of snow or one or two snows, good snowfalls. It's not like your area where like it snows and then you keep snow, like you still have snow on the ground.
Oh, girl, we have tons of snow on the ground. I'm looking outside right now, and I think there's probably 4 feet drifts still out in my yard.
Whoa.
So, yeah, there's a lot of snow.
It's probably hard for you to talk about spring with that.
It kind of is, but hey, I'm looking forward to it because I think that spring and just like fall, it's like a change, and that's kind of re-energizing. So I'm excited about the spring this year. It's been a long winter, and I think a lot of people are really looking forward to getting outside and like talking to other people again. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. For those that are watching live with us, let us know where you're watching from and what the weather's like today. Is it spring officially where you're at? Something that comes with spring is a spring market. That's something we talk about a lot with our clients. And I know, I've been in the business going on 20 years and you're right up there. I always forget exactly what year.
16 years.
16 years, yeah. And so I've always told my clients, especially sellers, it's a great time to list in the spring. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because the last couple years, it really hasn't mattered what season we were in. It was like a nonstop spring sellers market, right? And so now we're kind of going back into this normal cyclical cycle for real estate. And I thought we could talk about why is it? Why is the spring market typically the better market? And how can we position ourselves to take advantage of that time and to get in front of as many buyers and sellers that are thinking about making a move. So Diane says it's spring in northern Michigan, beautiful, sunny, 50 degrees. And man, I bet you guys really welcome it because I know Michigan gets lots of snow, lots of snow. I talked to Heather Klontmaker a couple years ago because I coached her for a while, and I remember something that was so cool. She's in Holland, Michigan, I believe. Their sidewalks are heated.
What?
Yes,
Throughout the city?
yes. I don't know if it's just downtown, but it's like so the snow will melt, I guess. And I'm like,
That's
that is crazy.
That's
How
awesome,
cool.
but that's gotta be expensive to keep up with.
I'm
My
sure
word,
it
how
is
does that
very
even
expensive.
work?
I have no idea.
I'm
And
gonna have to look
Heather, if
into
you're
that.
watching, I hope I'm quoting you right, but I remember her telling me that. Um, so Steph, why do you think it is that the spring market's typically one of the best markets?
Well, how easy is it for us to, like, put a briefcase around our shoulder and just run out during the spring and summer versus the winter? Like, here in the winter, we've gotta put on boots and, jackets and hats, and we have to plan, like, can we drive? Are the roads open? So I think spring in general, it's just easier here in South Dakota anyway to just, like, get out, and it's not too hot yet. So I think that gives us like new energy as agents. And with that is just simplicity. We're able to like just jump in the car and go. That and I think there's more daylight. So I don't know about you, but after I get Megan from school in the winter, it's kind of like it's dark and you just want to go home. It seems like evening is just done with work. But in the summer, unfortunately and fortunately, we can work typically till 8 or 9. So you can get a lot more done in a day.
Yeah, I mean, from an agent's perspective, I can see that being the case, being more available. From a buyer's perspective, for me, the way I've always explained it to my clients, and I am in a market that has this easy entry to the market as far as price point and that first time home buyers type. So for us, a lot of the buyers out there are filing their taxes. And they're getting in that particular type of demographic, they're getting money back most of the time, right? So now they have 5, 10, $15,000 in some cases to tap into that they may not have had otherwise. And so now they're all of a sudden, okay, now's the time. Now's the time I'm going to buy the car. Now's the time I'm going to pay off this credit card, or now's the time I'm gonna go ahead and buy a house and get out of a rental, right? So for our area, I feel like the first time home buyer market picks up dramatically from like February, March, April. I would say it kind of starts to taper back down in like May, June. Do you see that at all?
Yeah. So here in South Dakota, it's still not going to be like a typical spring market. I know you had mentioned the last 2 years was kind of like a free for all, like where everyone just, multiple offers and that kind of thing. Actually, this year, it looks like it's probably going to be that way again. But I think spring typically for buyers, especially, they've been inside the entire time. They've been looking at Zillow. They've been waiting and waiting. And especially now with the last 2 years of, we need inventory in South Dakota. I think people are just sick of waiting. If they're waiting for interest rates to change, um, you know, I think they're just sick of waiting. So there's going to be this push, this, I think, spring again. The last four houses that we put on the market were over asking price. There was multiple offers. All of those things are going to happen again. But also because it's been a long winter and people want to get out of their homes. So they're sick of waiting for inventory. They're sick of waiting for the interest rates to drop. And also, they're sick of this long winter here.
Well, yeah, and it's also just easier to make a change in the spring because especially if you have kiddos, right? So you put your house on the market in April, and typically you're not having to move out until after school is over. And then you also have the buyers that are thinking, okay, I'm going to get into the market right now because by the time it closes, we'll have the beginning of summer. I'll have all summer to get unpacked and settled in my new house, or, get into that desired school district they're wanting to go in. So there's just so many things that align with the spring market. So, what are some negatives that you see with having this surge of new buyers and sellers coming into the picture in spring?
Well, for us right now, again, it's inventory. So, it gets a little depressing to have to tell a buyer they're going to have to compete again and again. And I think that's been the last few years. But typically, there's only like one of you, unless you have a team. So when there's so many buyers that come out at one time, unless you have a team, I mean, those are going to be some long working hours for you, and you should really take it while you can. But also learn to manage your time a little bit better. I remember earlier on in my career when spring came along, I mean, I would check out in the morning and check back in at 9, 10 o'clock at night. And that was just really how spring and summer went for me.
Yeah, that's true. So negative would be being having more demand on your time, and
Absolutely.
unless you have a team, which by the way, if that's where you're at, ladies, and you're solo and ready to build a team, we do have a program that will show you how to do that the right way in a micro team way. So you're not having to go from solo to like this mega team model. You go to a kind of a slower how to make your first few hires. So that's something we can help you with. But not only do you have more demand, but I feel like also you have people that are less serious because it's if we think about our bodies and we think about just like the energy cycle, right? I think that sometimes people are wanting to make a move because it's like their new year almost. And we're going to talk about that a little bit for us as realtors, but for buyers, I see that too. They're just restless. Like you said, they're tired of this long winter. They're ready for a change. They're ready to do something different. So they're like, oh, I'm going to play around and I'm going to search for houses on Zillow. I mean, I know you guys have talked to lots of buyers that have a hobby of looking at houses. And that's maybe cut down a little bit with the market being so demanding and the multiple offers. But if your market saw any kind of a cool down, we're starting to see it more and more, having buyers that are, they're just curious. It's not they're not moving because there's a life event. The life event people, that's going to happen year round, right? They're moving because of a death, because of a divorce, because of maybe a baby, or because of being relocated for a job. Those people, it really doesn't matter what time of year it's happening, they have to buy or sell, and they're very serious. They're willing to listen to your advice. But the people that are just doing it on a whim and just because, oh, it feels like I would like something new, they're going to be a little bit harder to kind of nail down. Do you find that too?
Yeah, definitely. In the spring, I think that there's a lot of us that want to spring clean and do all the things, which kind of motivates us to recognize the things that aren't working in our homes. So, like, let's say that you're cleaning your kitchen. It's like, wow, I don't have enough space for all my appliances. And wait a second, there was an open house down the street. So maybe I'll go look at that. So they're kind of kicking around the idea. I think it's really important to make sure that you pre-qualify people is the advice that I can give is, if someone is just calling you up and saying, hey, I want to take a look at a house, just make sure that you qualify them. So then that way you can handle the buyers that are actually like real buyers that will want your Saturday afternoons or will want your evenings. So I think it's a really good time to maybe go back to that skill set, making sure that you ask them if they've been working with someone. I know we had a open house this past weekend, and it was a lower price point, and tons of people called us, and they said they couldn't get a hold of their agent, so they wanted us to show the home. But that kind of took some scripting with them. It's like, are you working with someone? Are you if you require a mortgage, have you talked to a lender? There's a lot of different things that we can talk to them about to make sure that they're a real buyer for you before you just take off on a Saturday afternoon. So I think that we need to freshen up on those skills too.
Yeah, I agree. We just had a team meeting, and we always go over the leads that we send to our team. And so there was more than one of the leads that we had sent that our agents were like, well, they changed their mind, or they're only interested in this one particular house and it's under contract already, and they're not interested in being followed up with or being set up on a search. And so my question was, why? Right? So why aren't they interested? And the agent wasn't able to tell me because she didn't push, she didn't ask. And this is not to knock my agent, because I have the best agents ever, but I think we do slip into this. For one, we've had lots of opportunities, so we're having to work for business again. And for two, we also, I think, we have fear of rejection, right? So the moment somebody says, no, I'm not interested, a lot of times, a lot of agents will just shut down. Okay, that's fine, no big deal. And I'm just going to move on to the next. But I think that we need to live in a state of curiosity. And if we're coming from curiosity and asking genuine questions, not interrogating, not judging, just like genuinely asking questions, right? So on this particular one, there was the house that already went under contract. And so what I shared with her was the conversation should be, well, tell me more. What did you love about that house? What made you inquire and spend 20 minutes? We wouldn't say that part, but she spent 20 minutes with my ISA having a conversation about this property and all of these things, right? And so it's like, okay, you did invest time. So you just say, nope, I'm good. That we shouldn't just accept. We should not just accept that somebody's good. We should come from a place of curiosity, ask questions, dig deeper, find out the motivation. And when you do that, you're going to have a connection with this person.
I totally agree. And you can always like take it upon yourself to look for other options for them and send them those options. So if they're calling about a specific property, look for something similar. Even if they say that, you know what, we're not interested. If you have their email and their phone number and they haven't told you not to contact them, I'd go ahead and send it. Let their curiosity kind of fuel maybe another call.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I told my team, let's not take no for an answer, at least not the first time, right? Let's push back a little bit in a kind way and ask questions. And they asked, well, how many times do we need to do this? And I said 7 times. So I don't know that that's a magic number.
Until they say quit, and I mean quit.
Yes, until they're serious. Yeah.
Yep.
And it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable, but that's our job. It is our job to follow up. And the truth is, they wouldn't have bothered to call if there wasn't some sort of underlying need. And we need to get over this thought of I'm bugging them or I'm bothering them or I don't want to impose. No, I am doing a service. And if this is something that they desire and I can help make that happen, then I want to perform my job and do a service. And somebody's going to do it. So it might as well be me. Right.
I love that. I love that curiosity. That's a great word. And I think that in life that we need to be more curious. We need to ask better questions in life and in business.
Yeah.
Great word.
Yeah. Well, and so the other aspect of this is our personal life. So I told you kind of my idea for our podcast today, and you're like, that's very Nikki of you, right?
It is
Because
very Nikki of you.
we have a friend, Nikki Connor. I interviewed her this last week about one-on-one coaching, and what ends up happening, Stephanie, with my students, my one-on-one students, we end up becoming friends, right? Because I'm in their
We should.
lives week in, week out, and we get to know each other on a personal level. And I can say Nikki has been such a great friend to me, and she's taught me a lot. And so what she was explaining to me one day was about this cycle. So we know, and it's a very natural thing. And so don't kind of freak out, right? This is not new age. This is just what we naturally go through and what the world naturally goes through. We have seasons, and there's a purpose for every season, right? And talks about that in the Bible. Talks about that in Ecclesiastes. Solomon talks about how God has a season for different times of your life, for different times of the year, for weather. Like we live in an orderly world, and so winter typically is the season for rest and for recuperating. And what is interesting to me is how before I realized this, I would always push, right? I would push, push, push during the holidays, especially around our coaching business. We'd have promotions, we'd have challenges, we'd have all these things. And then like January 1, I'm like, okay, who's ready for a new year? Right. And it would be another push, 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 and trying to push myself to the next level. And what I wasn't allowing myself to do was to have a rest time. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you like turn off your real estate business. Okay. I'm not saying that consistent effort yields consistent results. But I do think it's okay for us to dial it back a little bit or to have some intentionality. I'm going to take maybe a week off during the holidays, or I'm going to have my calendar shut off earlier. You mentioned this already about how, and I say this all the time, when the time changes in the fall and it gets dark earlier, I love it because I feel like I have permission to say no.
Permission.
Yeah, to say no, and I feel like my clients aren't gonna ask me to show them houses at 8 o'clock at night because they're not, right? Like, typically, they don't, right?
No, here they
In the
don't. And
wintertime.
there's normally like ice on the ground as well, and it's dark. And honestly, the older that I'm getting, my visual, like I shouldn't be like driving at the night when there's ice on the ground and that kind of thing. So you're right, it does give us permission. And here it's so hot in the summer as well. Like there's probably a couple weeks that it gets so hot and it's hard to be out in that heat too. So I kind of give myself permission when it's also that hot to just stay in the air conditioning. So I think there's different seasons. I think the seasons of life, like when it's darker outside, yes, I feel like we all hibernate naturally. But I think there's different seasons in everyone's lives where, it might not be just winter. It might be where if you have a new baby or there's a lot of different things that I think that could happen. But definitely in the summer when it's so hot for that couple of weeks, I also don't work as much.
Yeah, and so Actually, if you kind of think of the seasons of the year and your seasons of your life in the same way, if winter is our time to rest, relax, and maybe for some plan, I think that's a great time to plan out and to study and to kind of get things in order. Spring is like your new year. And so for those that have been thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm so behind because I didn't get one listing a week since January," or "I've missed my power hour every day and I haven't been doing everything I wanted to in the first quarter." Good news, this can be your new year, right? You can start over.
Absolutely. Your year can be April 1st or April 2nd or whenever. That's a brilliant idea though, Jess. Like every year to have your year, your like financial, your business year start in spring. I think
Yeah.
that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, and this could be the time that you take on the new projects or the new CRM or the new coaching program or whatever the things are that you've been thinking about implementing. You a lot of times because you have this rest, if you allowed yourself to take that break, I have so much new energy. It's a time for creating, for birthing something new and just being excited about living life, right?
Yeah,
So
get
definitely this
outside
time.
and
Yeah.
feel the sun. I think I said that at the conference too. It's like put your face in the sun, like close your eyes and just put your entire face in the sun and like feel it. There's like new energy through sun, just through the sunshine.
Yeah. Well, and even new routines, right? So thinking about either starting a morning routine if you
Yep.
haven't done that before, or starting an evening routine, having specific times that you're going outside, or for me, like I like to read my Bible in the mornings. That's very important to me to get my day started that way. But I also am doing yoga and I'm enjoying not pushing myself. I had hired a personal trainer the last 7 months. I started in, I think it was July of last year, and was getting up like at 5:30 every day. And this winter I just was not feeling it. January, like the end of January, beginning of February, I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. And, I felt good that I had lasted that long, but I let go of it. And it was tough to feel like I had given something up, but I also knew I had to listen to my body and it was okay to not always push, 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 push.
Yep. You
And so I
definitely
switched
have to
that with
listen.
yoga where I feel like more relaxed and restored. And, I just like the way I feel at the end of it. And I'm getting my workout in. So.
So do you do yoga at home? I think I asked you this, but I can't remember.
No, I first started doing like a group setting and it was also at 5:30 and I just decided, "You know what? I'm self-employed. I don't have to be at work at 8 a.m."
Yeah.
So I decided to hire someone to do one-on-one sessions and I go right after I drop off Henry from school at 7:45 and I'm done by 9 and then I can start my day.
Perfect.
And I'm like, I love it. I can
Awesome.
design my day around my life and not feel like I'm always pushing myself and adding to the stress and anxiety.
I love that.
Yeah. So, moms, I hope that you are found this encouraging today. I hope that this spring market finds you with new business and new opportunities and that you're there to capture it. And if you need anything in your business, don't forget we do have lots of ways that you can work with us. We have our inner circle, and that is a group coaching program where we go live once a week and we help you with whatever is going on in your business. We also offer lots of tools of how to get organized in your business, like Business in a Box. And I mean, there's lead gen strategies, there's graphics that you get every month. Like, there's so many things. It's kind of like the infomercials a little bit, Stephanie. Like, every time I talk about the inner circle, I'm like, but wait, there's
But
more.
there's more. And talking about schedule, there's definitely help with developing your schedule and how to, manage your time. So I think that'd be
But
great
most
too.
importantly, this program is designed by moms for moms. So we
Amen.
get it. Yep, and the goal is there's no shaming, there's no hustle culture. It is truly you discovering what is right for you and your business and your family and identifying that goal and what your individualized success is. And we give you the tools that will help you close 1 deal a month to 10 deals a month. Like there's the principles are the same. It just depends on what you're after in this real estate business. So that's the inner circle. We have lots of other ways you can work with us, but if you want to know more information about that, you can go to our website, realestatemegamoms.com, and click on group coaching. And then, of course, you can always find us on YouTube or podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. But make sure you like and subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll see you all next week. Happy Easter, too, Steph.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, it's next week,
Yay.
Sunday. All right. Bye, moms.
Bye, ladies.